Hey everyone, welcome to the Long Game Yoga. I'm Ken. We're going to focus today on shoulders, which, no need to remind everybody, are useful and always, well, maybe not always, but often complain a bit because there's a lot that goes on in the shoulders, and sometimes we get in these habits where we're hunching forward a lot, and so we're collapsing here and the shoulders are rolling forward, and we want to bring them back. We want to make sure that we can move them in a way that feels healthy and unimpeded as much as it's possible for us to do that. Before we get started, if you do have anything going on with your shoulders, feel free to modify anything as we go. We're going to start this flow sitting. A lot of times I like to start on the back, taking a couple of breaths just to get into it. And if you want to go ahead and do that, go ahead and pause the video. That would be great. Otherwise, we're going to start seated, and I'm going to sit in a hero's pose. So I'm going to use one block, or you can use two blocks. We can do it like that. And then just get your sit bones on the blocks, just enough that you can be upright. You want to feel the shoulders stacking above the hips, and you're lifting up through the crown of the head. So you're just sitting comfortably, sitting tall. Get yourself located. Have a strap handy nearby too. We're going to be using this in just a bit. But then just, take a seat, get heavy, take a couple of breaths. The breath is a big part of our yoga practice. It helps us stay focused in the moment. So really inhale, fill the lungs all the way up. Imagine you're drawing the air all the way down into your belly button. Imagine your lungs are filling up all the way to the collarbones on the inhale, and then a nice slow exhale as well. If it's comfortable and it feels safe for you, you could always close your eyes for a moment too. Trying to keep that breath strong and slender and long. In addition to just focusing the mind, the breath does have a way into the autonomic nervous system. So if you slow down the breath, particularly the exhalations, it will start to activate the parasympathetic portion of your autonomic nervous system. And that's the part that allows you to relax, to feel safe, to feel grounded. It's the opposite of the fight or flight, right? So you can think of them, and I do, as sort of the gas pedal and the brake. Gas pedal is the sympathetic nervous system. The brake is the parasympathetic, parasympathetic nervous system. And so the breath is one way we can get in there. So after you've taken a few breaths and after you feel centered, go ahead, take your arms, reach them out in front of you, and then roll them back and in the socket. So you're kind of pulling them back, so you're not hunching your upper back, pulling them back. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cross that right arm underneath the left, and then just reach around. See if you can grab your shoulder blades. Right, so this is a really easy, gentle way to start. Keep staying sitting tall. Feel the shoulder blades pulling apart from one another. So we do want a little bit of rounding in that upper back. We're just creating a little space in that area. The shoulder blades, obviously, are a big part of the shoulder. And what we want to do is make sure that we've got nice movement, side to side, away from one another, toward one another. So we'll take another round of breath like this. And then you can go ahead, let that go, and then just take a couple of rolls of the shoulder. Roll them up and back a few times. Roll them up and forward a few times. We're going to do that again. This time we're going to put the opposite arm on top. So go ahead, reach those arms out again. Palms are facing one another. Pull the shoulders back and in socket. And this time it's the opposite arm that goes underneath, whatever arm you didn't do. Might feel a little bit different. But try and keep the spine long here. Again, imagine broadening across the collarbones. Getting a lot of space in there. I think that's one of the other things about our yoga practice that's really helpful for the body. We're just moving the joints through a range of motion, trying to create some space in there. You know, we're working out the kinks, working out that stiffness. Keep the breath flowing here. We'll take one more breath. And then you go ahead and let it go. And we'll take a few of those shoulder rolls again. Now this is where we're going to use the strap. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead, grab the strap, and whatever substitute of strap you have handy. If you don't have it, a dog leash could do it. The bathrobe tie could do it. An actual tie maybe could do it. I wouldn't know. So what we're going to do is hold the strap nice and wide, right? Get the arms straight overhead. And then what we want to do is we want to drop that strap down in front of us, like so. So I'm keeping the torso in place. Then we're going to inhale the strap up, and then we're going to go over the back and behind. Again, trying to keep the torso in place. It's going to move a little. It's okay. You might need to widen the grip a bit. And then let's just do this a few times. So this is getting into that shoulder joint in all directions here, or well, maybe not all directions, but a lot of directions here. And the shoulder, when you think about it, is a really amazing joint. If you've ever looked at a picture of, I assume a picture of, an actual shoulder blade, it's one of the coolest bones in the body because it does so much. It moves in these different planes of direction. And it just kind of rides across that upper back. And it moves sideways too. It's cool. And that's what gives our arms so much range of motion, right? It moves in a lot of different directions. But, the problem with that much mobility is we, give up some stability. So that's why we do want to give this extra work to our shoulders when we can in our yoga practice. All right, so once you come back to the front again, let's go ahead, let's lose the strap for now. Taking a couple more shoulder rolls. You might already be noticing that something is feeling a little more open here. So let's come off the blocks, let's make our way to the front of the mat, and we're going to set up for our tabletop. So in our tabletop, like we always do, let's just make sure that we're getting the shoulders over the wrists. We're getting the hips over the knees, and the feet, you want them pointing back. Reach through the big toe. We don't want the ankles dropping out to the side or dropping inward. Once you've got that alignment dialed in, spin your biceps forward. And you can feel as you do that, you're rotating the upper bone, the humerus, in that shoulder socket. So those are some of the smaller rotator muscles that are engaging there. And then we'll take some cats and some cows. So for the cow, drop your belly, lift your hips, lift your heart. And then reverse that on your exhale. And you can really, I guess, do any breath pattern you like here. Traditionally and typically for my classes, I like to do the inhale as we come through cow and the exhale as we round through cat. And really every flow I teach has cat and cow in it. It's one of those little vinyasas that I think is so important. And if I ever have one of those days, and I do, where, I have 39 seconds to do my yoga, I will spend all 39 of those seconds just doing this if there's nothing else available. So just feel this wave motion rolling up the spine, moving one pair of vertebrae, the next pair of vertebrae, the next pair of vertebrae, all the way from the tailbone up through the crown of the head. And then we'll come back to a neutral tabletop. So from here, let's do this. Let's step the right foot back. Take a few rocks back and forth, just stretching into the back of the leg a bit. And then get the shoulders above the wrists again. And we're going to float that right leg up. Try to keep the hips level. We're not trying to open anything out to the side here. You're pushing through that lifted heel. Toes are pointing down. And then we're going to lift the left arm up. So finding this spinal balance shape, which is a nice position for that shoulder to be in. So we're going to inhale here, and on the exhale, see if you can tap that left knee to the left elbow to the right knee, and then extend on the inhale. Exhale, elbow to knee, extend. One more time. Exhale, elbow to knee, and then we extend. Just hold this for a moment, round of breath, nice inhale, nice slow exhale, and then you can go ahead, drop the hand, drop the leg. I like to come out onto the back of the right hand for a second here, just to stretch that wrist out, because it was holding up a bunch of weight. We'll come back and we'll take this to the other side. So this time it's the left foot that's stepping back. You're on the ball of the foot, rocking back and forth. Keep spinning those biceps forward. And then we'll set up for that spinal balance. So when you're ready, go ahead, inhale the left leg up, push through the heel, and then reach the right arm up by the right ear. Getting nice and long here. So we're not really looking for some kind of height world record. We're just looking for length. So reach on the inhale, and then on the exhale, we're just going to tap elbow to knee. Inhale. We'll do this 2 more times. This is just getting into the core a little bit, warming up the back a little bit, getting a little bit into this right shoulder as we do this. Then we'll reach, extend, and hold for a round of breath. So nice inhale, a nice exhale, and then go ahead, lower the hand, lower the leg, roll onto the back of that left wrist carefully for a moment. And then let's just bring the big toes together, separate the knees a little bit, sink the hips down and back, finding your child's pose. Bring the hands down by the hips here and let the shoulders round forward. Inhale and exhale. And then go ahead, reach the arms forward. We're going to make this an active child's pose. So the elbows are lifted off the floor. And then here, for a second, push the floor away from you. So you're pushing your hips back. And then change it up. Pull the floor toward you. Now you're not moving your hands. They're still in the same place. But you're getting this kind of push and pull. Do this a couple times. Feel what that's doing in the shoulders. It's real subtle, but you'll feel it. And then we're just going to make our way to our down dog. So lift the hips, tuck those toes, send the hips up and back. I like to start with bent legs when I come to that first down dog of my practice. Maybe straightening one leg and then the other. And then getting those hips up and back. So sometimes what helps can be to come up high onto your toes, send the hips up and back a little more, and then drop the heels. So feel the work that your arms are doing here. And let's bring some awareness to what the shoulder is actually doing. So if you're in a straight line from your wrist crease up to your sit bones, your biceps should be about where your ears are. And you could even swing your head side to side a little bit, make sure. But then I want you to play around with this for just a moment. Spin those biceps forward again. So you're getting that external rotation of the upper arm bone. How does that feel in the shoulders? Does it make them feel stable? And then do the opposite for just a second. Again, carefully. So spin the biceps down. See how that sits. And it might feel different, and there might be one spot that feels better than the other in your body. So just see what that is. Next inhale, we're rolling forward to our plank pose. So you can always drop your knees here for a modified plank. Find a little bit of that cat in your upper back, so round. So even do this, exaggerate it a bit. Really throw some rounding in that upper back. Pull those shoulder blades apart from one another. And then let's push the hips up and back. So we're going to do this a couple times. Roll forward to that plank, keeping that rounding in your back, upper back, pushing back. And just warming into the shoulders this way It's also building a little bit of strength in the front body to do this. Nice. We'll do it one more time. Roll forward. Keep the legs engaged here. Push the floor away from you. And then we're going to lower slowly to the mat. So the elbows are going to bend. Keep the elbows tucked in, so they're just going to pass by the ribs on the way down. Once you land, untuck the toes. And here, let's pull the palms back so they're right at the lowest rib. Engage the legs. So that means press the tops of the feet down into the mat. Kneecaps are going to lift. And then inhale the head, neck, and chest up off of the mat. Coming into this low cobra. Roll the shoulders back. Pin the elbows toward one another. Pull the navel up to the spine. And then you can let that go. You can bring your forehead or one cheek down to the mat. We're going to do that one more time. This time we're going to bring our hands down by our hips. So put the palms on the mat. Knuckles are pointing up to the ceiling. On your inhale, activate those legs again. Peel the head, neck, and chest away from the mat. And then I'd like you to come up on tented fingers here. Roll the shoulders back. And then float the hands up, palms facing one another. So you can leave them facing one another. If you'd like to interlace the fingers and that feels okay, you can do that. We're rolling those shoulders back. Keep pulling the navel up to the spine. Now the navel stays obviously on the mat, but you want that core engaged to help protect the low back. One more round of breath. And then you can let that go. Bring the forehead or opposite cheek down to the mat. We're going to pass up into our upward facing dog from here. So bring the hands back by the low ribs, maybe scooch them back just a little bit. Engage the legs, lift those kneecaps, and then push into your back bend. So here in this upward facing dog, it's just the palms of the hands and the tops of the feet that are on the mat. The knees aren't down. And this is great for the shoulders. Try and pull the shoulders away from the ears a little bit. We don't want them hiking up. Push up. And then we'll roll forward. Coming over the toes, up and back, making our way to down dog again. Take a nice stretch here in this down dog. And then from here, let's look forward and we can just walk our feet to our hands. You can hop if you like. Inhale, come into a halfway lift. So in this halfway lift, my torso is parallel to the floor. I've got my hands on my legs, but I'm not really like pushing. I'm just placing. For a reference, bring more weight forward so you're not sitting back in your heels. And keep the back nice and straight, or as straight as you can. Keep breathing. And then if you want to make this more challenging, go ahead, just bring your hands to your shoulders. Notice the muscles along the back that are keeping your torso lifted. Your hamstrings are also getting into this too. And then exhale, fold all the way over. You can let the hands come down. On our next inhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. Lift the torso. You can reach the arms overhead. And then hands come to heart center. So we're going to take a couple of half suns. Again, focusing on what this is going to do with our shoulders. So we'll start with the hands at heart center. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Look at all that motion the shoulders take. Exhale, hinge, and fold. We'll do it again. Inhale as you rise. Exhale. You can fold. You can do this nice swan dive. We'll do it one more time. Inhale all the way up. Exhale all the way back down. Let's throw a Surya Namaskar A into here. So go ahead, come up to your halfway lift. Actually, let's inhale all the way up. Let's do it that way. All the way up, hands to heart center. Tadasana. Inhale the arms up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant those hands. We're stepping back to our plank. In a moment, we're going to lower down. Your choice. You can lower all the way to the mat and stick with a low cobra. Or, if you want to work the shoulders a little bit more, come down to a chaturanga. So the elbows are over the wrists. And then slide the toes back. Inhales, upward facing dog. Exhale, we're up and back in our down dog. So we'll take a round of breath here in this down dog, a couple rounds actually. Push the floor away. It's that same thing we were doing in that active child's pose earlier. So think about pushing the floor away from you. And then looking forward, we're going to step the right foot forward. Nice deep bend in this front leg. Pivot and plant that back heel. Heel toe the front foot in so that the heel lines up with the inner arch of your back foot. And then we're going to pop this elbow onto the thigh, setting up for a side angle. But I want to do things a little different. Before I tell you what, just double check that you've got the knee right above the ankle over on this side, on the right side. Lift the left arm up to the ceiling and then dial the palm back. We're going to drop that left hand behind us. It can land on the low back. It can land on the glute. We're taking this half bind to open that shoulder up. So you're rolling that left shoulder back. If you have the half bind and you want to crawl those left fingertips onto the top of your thigh, you can do that. If you want to take a full bind and that's part of your practice where you reach this arm under and grab the other one, you can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to stick with this half bind right here to show you guys. Roll that shoulder back, open that chest up to the long edge of the mat. Nice. And then let's extend that left arm back to the ceiling. We'll leave the legs as they are and we'll lift the torso. So we're finding this warrior two shape just for a moment. So we're extending the arms. Think of this space from fingertips to fingertips. Get nice and long. And then think about what your shoulders are doing here. See if you can drop them down away from your ears a little bit. We don't need them hiking up to the ears. They're not going to help. So we're reaching. Then let's come into goal arms, or cactus arms, some people like to call it. So we're still facing the long edge of the mat. Got the shoulders back. So here those shoulder blades are pulling towards one another. Inhale and then exhale, bring the forearms together. Just bringing the shoulder blades in the opposite direction. Inhale. Exhale, press them together. Keep that nice lunge in the leg. Inhale one more time. Exhale, bring them together. And we're going to hold. So in this, we don't want the elbows sinking down. See if you can keep them at shoulder height. Try not to let the fingertips come down toward the forehead. Stay nice and strong in the legs. This is harder than it looks. And then let's re-extend the arms. We're going to look down, just cartwheel the arms. You can give yourself a vinyasa here. Otherwise, you could just head back to your down dog. Noticing how that feels, noticing what that's brought up. We're going to swing around here. We're going to do that to the other side. So when you're ready, look forward. This time it's the left foot stepping to the left hand. We're pivoting and planting the right heel, getting that heel to back arch alignment, and then bringing the forearm down to the thigh bone. Reach that right arm up to the ceiling, dial that thumb back, and then let that hand drop down. Taking that half bind, rolling the right shoulder back this time. Try not to grip the mat with your toes. So you're really stamping down through that left heel, rolling the shoulder back, keeping that right leg engaged. So even though we're focusing on shoulders, we're getting a workout, getting the legs some work here. You sink down a little bit more into this lunge. Nice. We'll re-extend the right arm And then leave the lower body intact as is. Lift the torso. Position the shoulders over the hips. So we don't want to be scooching forward or back. Want to be centered. Again, we're reaching the arms, looking out this time over the left fingertips for a moment. Softening that area around the base of the neck. And then we're going to bring the arms up into this cactus shape again. So notice how your shoulders feel. Like I've got a little bit of thing going on with my left shoulder. It nags at me. So I feel this. I feel like a little pinching right there. And for that, it's just like PT type exercises, you know, rotator cuff stuff. But this helps too. So we'll take an inhale, exhale. Bring the forearms together. Inhale to open. Exhale those forearms together. I'm feeling this in my shoulders. If you've been doing this whole thing, maybe you are too. Hopefully you are. Inhale one more time, then exhale. Bring those forearms together. Press them into one another. Keep those elbows lifted. Keep breathing. One more round of breath. Let's re-extend the arms. We're gonna pinwheel, I guess, our arms down. Take a vinyasa. Let's come down halfway or all the way. You can still stick with that. Or you can skip them. Everything is an option here. I've got thoughts about what you can do, but if you've got different thoughts, entertain them. It's coming back to this down dog, seeing how it feels. Again, thinking about the position of those upper arms. Are you spinning them out? Does that feel stable for you? Or if you spin them in, does that feel better for you? I've heard arguments for both, honestly. And I'm ambivalent. Agnostic, maybe. I think, there are benefits to wherever. You just want them feeling strong. You want that upper arm bone, the humerus, to feel like it's seated against the shoulder really well here. From here, let's look up. Let's bring our feet to our hands. Inhale to that flat back. Exhale, fold over, and then we hinge to rise. So let's take a big step open. We want to face the long edge of the mat and grab your strap here. So we're going to finish off by getting into the shoulders in a couple different directions at the same time. So take a wide stance here. You know, my feet are 3.5, maybe 4 feet apart from one another. And one way you can tell that you've got a nice wide stance is that when you lift your arms, your ankles are basically under your wrists or thereabouts. Outside edges of the feet are a little bit pigeon-toed. So we want them at least parallel and preferably a little pigeon-toed because that'll help us when we do hinge forward, which is what we're going to do in a moment. But let's go ahead and let's take the strap and let's put it over our left shoulder like so. So what I'm going to do to start is I'm going to reach the right arm out, spin that thumb down to the floor so the palm is facing behind me, and then I'm going to bring that hand up and back behind me. And I'll just show you what it looks like from the back. The hand can grab the strap right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to lift the left arm up by the ear and then bend it at the elbow. And that's what the strap is for. If you can just grab your fingers easily, you can go ahead and do that. Otherwise, just grab this strap. It doesn't matter how close your hands are. You want to feel this nice stretch in both shoulders. So right now, the right shoulder is getting this nice internal rotation. And then we've got this nice extension on the left arm. It's going straight up. And then from here, we're going to hinge at the hips. Let the torso hang over, keeping that bind in the shoulders. And like we did before, bring more weight to the front of the feet rather than sitting in the heels. This left elbow is pointing to the floor. We'll take one more breath. And then before you go anywhere, just release that bind. You can get the strap out of your way. Bring both hands down to the mat for a second. Maybe fold in a little more deeply. And then bring your hands to your hips, a little bend in the knees as you carefully lift the torso back up. We're going to do that on the other side. So this time the strap is coming over the right shoulder. Make sure the feet are where you want them. Left arm comes out. Dial that thumb down. Bring the hand behind you. You can help it up. It can also be useful to take your right hand, just push that shoulder, left shoulder back. It kind of helps train it where to go. And then you can reach the right arm overhead, bend at the elbow, find the strap or find your fingers. And just keep the legs nice and engaged here for a moment. Feel that difference in your shoulders right now. They're in very different positions. Hopefully they're feeling pretty open because of what we've done. Take one more round of breath upright, and then on your exhale, go ahead, hinge at the hips, folding over, keeping the arms in the position that they're in. Again, a little more weight to the front of the feet. Take one more breath. And then go ahead, release the strap, release the arms, maybe straighten into the back and then fold. Letting that go. And then from here, hands come to the hips. We lift the torso. Let's heel toe the feet toward one another, maybe. Take a little hop right at the end. Then we're just going to come up to the front of the mat. We're going to make our way down. So let's take one more inhale here, lift the arms up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale, halfway lift. And let's just come down onto our knees from here. I want to set up for a puppy pose to bring the shoulders in a different direction before we wrap up. Something that's a little bit more restorative. So you can just sink your hips back a little. You might need to lengthen your stance because we do want to leave the hips up. We're not coming to a child's pose. We're leaving the hips up. And then we're coming down onto our forearms. Walk the elbows forward. And you can either just keep the arms out in front of you like this. So my head's not on the mat. My elbows are not on the mat. Everything's lifted. So you can do that for a moment. Feel that nice stretch in the shoulders. And then go ahead, drop the elbows. Then bend the elbows, and you can plant your hands on your shoulder blades. Forehead can rest on the mat. I probably sound really loud in the mic right now. I'll talk softer. Just feel this nice neutralizing stretch on the shoulders here. Take one more round of breath. Okay, and then release the hands. And then we're just going to come down onto our seats. Get ready to wrap things up. So bring your blocks handy, nearby. We're going to lower down, plant the feet. And then the last thing I want to do for the shoulders right here is we're going to take a bridge. So make sure you can touch the back of your heels and then lift the hips. And then from here, roll the right shoulder and the left under and maybe interlace or grab the edges of the mat. So, this is usually, this is a back bend. And often we're doing it for the back. So it feels good. Getting a little stretch for the hip flexors here too. But the reason I want to do this right now is because it's putting the shoulders in this position, which is a nice spot. So we've really tried to hit a whole bunch of different angles and stretches and strengthening for the shoulders in this flow. We'll wrap it up with this right here. And then let's transition into a supported bridge. So you can take one of your blocks and bring it just right under your sacrum. Or if you want to, you can make a stack of 2 blocks. I tend to like 2 blocks because I have kind of long legs. And then from here, just go ahead and bring your arms back into that goalpost shape. And then you can lift the legs like this. It's coming into this nice waterfall shape. This should hopefully feel nice and relaxing on the shoulders. And you could stay in this kind of restorative shape as long as you like. If you're looking up at your feet, you could point and flex the feet. Allowing the shoulders to really soften and melt here. And you can stay here longer if you like. Otherwise, let's go ahead, bend the legs, plant the feet. Let's get those blocks out from under us. Let the hips settle. Maybe for a moment, just walk your feet to the outer edges of the mat. Let the knees knock together just to release the back. And then from here, go ahead and find a Shavasana shape. You can either just extend the legs, have the hands palms up, somewhere down by the hips. You can always bend the legs, bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees drop onto blocks. This is what I tend to prefer for my Shavasana shape. But you choose whatever you want. Just let yourself relax. Give yourself permission to rest deeply for a few minutes. You can let the video run out. I'm going to talk for a little minute or so. I'll try and keep it quick. And then it'll just, a little music sting. And then you can have some quiet rest for a few minutes, or you can pause the video, whatever you want. But that relaxation is always important at the end of practice, just to let the effects of the practice just really settle in to the body. So I hope that felt good on your shoulders. They can be a troubling area, and if you do have issues going on in the shoulders, you do. Usually your physician or your PT can show you some good exercises. And of course, the thing with those exercises, you got to do them. And I'm telling this to myself. I have to do them. And it's so easy to be like, I'm too busy to take the 3 minutes to do the exercises. Come on, let's be honest with ourselves. We got to do it. Maintaining health, working around injuries, that's part of what we do. We just want to stay active, so we're going to get the wear and tear, and we want to try and keep up with it. And these kind of flows can help us to build a little bit of strength to help increase some of that stability, right? We've got all the mobility, but we want some stability too. So that's what a flow like this can do for us. Hopefully you're feeling it in your shoulders and they feel better than when we started. If there's anything that you want to see in terms of flows, just put it in the comments and let me know. I hope this felt good for you. I'm pretty sure I just said that. Authentically human. Anyways, yeah, if you liked it, hit like. You can subscribe so that you don't miss a flow. I'm posting 2 flows a week these days. I'm glad you were here on the mat. I hope to see you again. Take care.